Good evening. It's July 24th, and this is the Speedway Town Council meeting. I'm Gary Rakes, and we're happy to have those folks in attendance, as well as those at home that might be watching live or on a replay. This evening we have a fairly short agenda, so I'll go ahead and get to it. And first thing, before we move to the pledge, I'll introduce our members in attendance this evening and then we'll move to that pledge. Excuse me. To my far right is Councilor Eileen Fisher.
Good evening.
And to my immediate right is Vice President Council Jeff Lindsay.
I'm Jeff Matthews.
Jeff Matthews.
Good evening.
I'm already thinking about Jeff Lindsay. I apologize, folks. That's Jeff Matthews. And to my immediate left is Councilor David Lindsay.
Not to be confused with Dave Matthews, but good evening.
The truth is, that's what I was thinking. And to his left is Jason Delisle, our counselor as well.
Good evening.
And our town manager, Jacob Blaisdell.
Jacob Blaisdell. Good evening, Speedway.
And our clerk treasurer, Monty Combs.
Good evening.
And the first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. We have some high school students here with us this evening. We're going to lead the pledge, and then we'll have a chance to talk to them afterwards. So if you would step forward, and maybe one of you is going to be the official leader, but if you could step forward at the lectern.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Stay up there. Stay up there. So if you would, just maybe quickly step forward, introduce each of yourselves individually, and then we'll start maybe asking some questions and make further introductions.
I'm Peyton Hartman, and I'm going to be a senior.
I'm Mackenzie Smith, and I'm going to be a senior.
I'm Kyle Smith. I'm going to be a junior.
I am Jackson Harris, and I'm going to be a junior.
I'm Mary Sears. I'm going to be a senior.
I'm Garrett Oath, and I'm going to be a junior.
Great. So, guys, you went on a trip recently to Verano, Italy, and I'm not sure who's your appointed spokesperson here, or spokespersons. If one of you wants to step forward, maybe talk a little bit about the trip, and we'll ask you some more questions after that.
The trip was, personally for me, and I hope for these guys, was probably the 13 best days of my life, best experience I've had. It was fun, every minute of it. I wish I could go back already.
That's great. So what are the types of things you guys did?
We hung out at the local river. We went and played foosball, went paintball, went to very different cities like Florence, Pisa, Rome, Cinque Terre.
Yeah. And you want to talk more about accommodations?
Their houses were very nice. Food was fantastic.
So you stayed in...
Yes.
Maybe expand on that a little bit about who you stayed with?
We're partnered with another high school student, and we stayed with them, and when they come next summer, they'll stay with us.
Yeah. Any other comments before we start asking questions about the trip?
Summed it up pretty good.
All right. Counselors, you have questions?
How long was the trip?
13 days.
Yeah. Well, personally, I received a couple communications from some folks in Verano, both with Delara as well as some folks that are not with Delara, and comments were some of the things you'd expect to hear, which was glad to have your students here and those that chaperoned you. But they also talked kind of privately about just how impressed they were with you as individual young adults moving forward. So thank you for representing our town really well. That is extremely important, that when we send representatives of our town to Verano, and I know a number of you went to Motegi a few years ago, that you represent us well, so thank you for doing that. What are some highlights of the trip for some of the others that maybe haven't talked? If you don't step forward, we'll go ahead and call on you. Smart man.
Personally, my favorite day of the trip was the day we went to Cinque Terre, and we kind of had a lot of free time with our Italian brothers and sisters. Spent the whole day at the beach, kind of hung out, swam a little bit, but that was probably my favorite time. We had the most time to spend with our brothers and sisters. So.
What is Cinque Terre?
Cinque Terre, it's along the Mediterranean coastline. Big city, I guess, so.
Clearwater.
Clearwater, yeah.
And so 5, Cinque, is that 5, is that right? So
Yeah.
5 towns
Mhm.
along the coast? Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. What did you have, Ms. Sears? See,
Okay.
I'm going to start calling out names.
So I agree with Kyle. That was one of my favorite days because it was really beautiful and we got to just go out to where the rocks were and jump off of them, and it was really fun. Personally, my highlights were pretty simple. I just loved getting to know my family, and my family was like one of my favorite parts about the trip because I loved them and they were so welcoming, and I loved like all the things that we did together. And I just liked hanging out when it was all of the kids just hanging out together. I think that was just one of my favorite parts because we were all just, it was just always a fun time with them. They were so welcoming.
That's great.
Was there much of a language barrier between you and the family?
So, with my family, I don't know about other people's families. I know Jackson's family, his host mom was an English teacher, so it was, communications were
handy.
really well. I know with my family, my host brother could speak pretty good English, and my host mom, she could speak a couple words, but I would understand her pretty well, and then the brother and the sister didn't speak very well, but I could still talk through my host brother, or I could even say a couple Italian words that we learned along the way. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Great. So did anyone have an experience that kind of makes them want to, not obviously go back as a tourist, but there's anything that you learned professionally or things that might guide you towards what year or two and you start thinking about college or going to college? Did you see anything that maybe attracted you to that? Come on.
That's a deep question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to make as much money as John Paulo.
So you want to do as well as Mr. Delara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just got one more question. So when the kids come over here and you host them, what is the one thing that you want to do and take them to here in Speedway?
I want to introduce them to the SIK on Main Street. I think they'll really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of going a couple years ago, and it was still a great memory. And then the next summer, we did take them to SIK, and I would encourage you to think maybe about giving them a little extra training, because a lot of them don't drive. So when they got in the carts, they were pretty timid. And then there were other people from here that were on the track that didn't recognize that. But it was a great time to show them that and so on. So what are some other places you like to take them here? I know that's a year away, but
I feel like the track is a given.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
track, yeah.
Sure.
Charlie Brown's.
Charlie Brown's. Liz Glover will love hearing you say that.
Just find our own hangout spots because just the parks or maybe Yoga Latte because they took us to the cafes at night and we could just hang out and talk with everybody. That was probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I want to show them our school too. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But.
That's great.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Is there any other questions or comments from the council?
Nope.
Anything you want else to share? Well, thanks for representing our town.
Thank you.
In a great way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll go ahead and move to item 2 on the agenda. It's approval of the town council meeting minutes from July 10th, 2017. Those have been handed out previous to the meeting. Are there any changes or comments on those from the council? Okay, we'll accept those as distributed. Item 3 is the approval of the town council Speedway Redevelopment Commission joint executive session memorandum from July 10th. Any comments or questions regarding that? And we'll accept that as distributed also. Item 4 is a road request for a road closure for Hops and Flip Flops, the 5K on August 19th. Is Lee O'Connor here? Yeah. Thank you. Lee, we thought you actually might be part of that group.
A little bit older.
No, I meant somebody went with him or something.
I gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Took a few business cards. Email's on there.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Can I borrow one?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks. Lee O'Connor with Racemaker Productions, part of the Speedway Running Club as well. We manage the Hops and Flip Flops 5K. We've done it the last 2 years. This will be the third annual. Looking for about 250, 300 athletes this year. To August 19th, so we bumped it up a week, but that's just the festival switched, which is the Hops Flip Flops Festival at Daredevil. So we kind of followed in tune with that. The other big change, we've worked with Captain Deerdoff with the Speedway Police, but we're changing the course. Previously, we've started up close to Dawson's and then finished at Daredevil, and it's just kind of silly to spread it out like that. And so we're starting at right on Gilman, and the plan is to go out onto Main Street, take Main to 10th, do the wrap around Lyndhurst to Crawfordsville, but on Crawfordsville on the trail, come back down, and then we'll make the left on Gilman. And then we get to utilize the new trail between Main and Allison,
Right.
hop on there and come up and finish at Gilman and Main right on the trail, kind of facing north. So the closures are all on here. Time frame's all the same. Just kind of adjusted the way we're going to start and finish it. Should be the same impact as previous years. We'll have the EMS out there as well, hanging out. So pretty basic.
Great. See, this is a Saturday, correct? Just-
Yeah, it is Saturday morning. Race starts at 9 o'clock. We'll be off the roads by 10's the closure. I put 10:10 just to give us a little bit of a pad.
So when you did it before, how many participants did you have?
I think the first year we were like, I want to say 90. Last year was about 180, 190. So it continues to grow, which is good.
Great.
So the roads will not be completely closed, correct? Just a
So
portion of the lanes?
the hard closure is going to be the Allison, the eastbound, not eastbound, north and then eastbound, Gilman and Allison, that inside lane. We'll probably just keep that closed, which normally I think Shane closes that all day long at Daredevil. And then everything else is kind of a rolling closure. There's a single lane, so 10th Street, single lane closure, Lyndhurst is a single lane closure. Main Street, the first 20 minutes from like 8:50 to 9:10, we're closing southbound lane, so they come out onto Main and go down past Big Woods and make the right. And then as soon as they're past that, which is really 5 minutes, once they're on 10th Street, we're open that up. But then the northbound pretty much stays closed from 16th to 11th, I believe. But it's all rolling, and we have officers. There's about 10 officers that run our course, and then another 15 volunteers, or I know we got the auxiliary police too, so
Great.
lots of folks to kind of keep the people happy.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the request for road closure for August 19th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve closure of roads for the 2017 Hops and Flip Flops 5K on August 19th. Any additional questions or comments? Jacob, you feel good about it?
Yes.
Great. Okay, go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of approving this motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carries 5-0.
And the proceeds I should have mentioned, they all go to the Speedway Trails, so it does benefit.
Thanks for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
So we're moving pretty quickly through the agenda. We're on to item 5, the approval of claims and utility adjustments, and a report from our clerk treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The claims for this meeting are from July the 7th to July the 21st. And answer any questions, but would appreciate your approval.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the claims as presented by Clerk Treasurer.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion. Are there any questions regarding the payment of claims? Okay. Any from the audience? All those in favor of approving the claims as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These carried 5-0.
Also for tonight is the utility adjustments for the same period of time from July the 7th to July 21st. Again, would appreciate your approval. A short list still, so that's good.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the utility adjustments as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the utility adjustments. Any comments from the audience or from the council? And from the audience? No. And all those in favor of approving as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Anything else to report?
No, sir.
Jacob, do you have anything to report as town manager?
Great, yes, sir, I do. Great, thank you. So as we've been talking about, we are in the process of filling the Director of Parks and Recreation Programming position. Had a lot of great interest in that. Happy to report, we have closed the position, and are now in the process of reviewing the applicants. So hopefully we'll have some kind of announcement on that in the relatively near future. But again, a great pool of applicants, so appreciate everybody who got the word out that we were looking to replace that position, and yeah, the process is going along very well. On the Hawk Crosswalk project, we have issued notice to proceed. So again, if you're tuning in and haven't watched the last couple of meetings, the Hawk system will stop pedestrian traffic in some of the busier roads that we have. One is going in at Cunningham, and the other on High School Road. The Cunningham project will actually start tomorrow. So there'll be some lane restrictions. Would ask that folks observe those as much as possible and avoid the area if you can. Unfortunately, on High School Road, we've had to order some special equipment that, as you know, is a much wider road than Cunningham. So we had to order some special equipment, so construction won't start on that until September, which is unfortunate. We'd hope to get everything in before the start of the school year, but we are working on that as quickly as we can. Mill and repave work is ongoing. We had hoped to have all mill and repave work for the summer done before the Brickyard 500. Weather prohibited that from happening, and unfortunately they weren't able to get started this week. So the last stretch is on Auburn. That work will be done the week of July 31st. So next week we'll get that going, and that'll wrap up the mill and repave work for the summer. One thing I want to mention, and this is something that if you listen to me talk and other things, I'm going to start announcing this PSA here, but sump pumps. For folks that have their sump pumps hooked up to the sewer system, it's technically it is an ordinance violation. You're not supposed to do that. It puts added stress and pressure on the sewer system in general, so it's not good for your neighbors. And then third, and hopefully to a lot of folks, most important, it's not good for you personally to have it hooked up. It makes you much more susceptible to having sewage backups. It just puts a lot more pressure on your system than it was ever intended to have. If you are not sure and have some questions about it, we will be happy to send someone out. You can call me directly, 246-4100, or can call code enforcement. They'll send but either way, we'll have the building inspector come out, take a look. I know I just said that it's an ordinance violation, and it is, but we're not going to write you up or anything. We can go out for free and just inform you if it's hooked up properly or not. So we had a couple of recent concerns about sewage backups, and so just want to alert people that if it's hooked up incorrectly, that's going to cause some issues for you. And then last, I want to mention that we have some vacancies on some of the boards and commissions in town. We now have it set up on the website that you can go on and sign and fill out the form electronically. Historically, it's been you went out, you had to print it off, and then find a way to scan it or mail it to us. Now through, it's a SurveyMonkey application, but you can just go click the link, fill out what you're interested in, and ask the same questions that it has. What are you interested in? What are your strengths? Some other questions, but check off any board or commission that you're interested in, and we'll sort of keep a running tally. Those are typically year-long appointments. Again, we have some vacancies right now, so I would ask folks that are interested, and if maybe it's not something you're interested in doing right away, but maybe in December, you can make a note of that as well. So that's all I have right now.
Great. Thanks for that report. It's thorough. Next is reports from council members. I'll start to my left. Jason, do you have anything to say?
Nothing for me.
David?
Nothing tonight.
Eileen?
Nothing, thank you.
And Jeff?
Mr. President, you know what tomorrow is?
It's a pretty vague question. I'll
Tomorrow is Tacos Tuesday.
Yes.
So in honor of Tacos Tuesday, tomorrow is the grand opening of Tacos and Tequila. They are going to have it's Taco Tuesday. Ribbon cutting tomorrow morning at 10:50, and doors open at 11, so stop by and grab yourself a taco or two. Wait for the tequila after 5 o'clock. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for that report, Jeff.
My pleasure.
Actually, I didn't know it was Taco Tuesday. But now I do. We all do. The last thing is my final report, or my report. I would echo Jacob's request for folks that are interested in serving in the town. There's lots of different opportunities, whether it's on a formal board, being a liaison to various things. We're always in need of, as much as anything, opinion on where residents, business people would like to see the town go. So in that regard, if you have a question about where you might serve, certainly you can talk to our town manager, but you could also call one of your counselors, and we'd be glad to engage with you about what that might be. So I know I believe, and I've talked to the counselors enough to know that we can never have enough involvement and terrific people to help guide us and be a part of the things we're doing. So that's all I had to report, and I thank everybody for their time. This is a fairly brief meeting. It's 7:20, and I call this meeting adjourned.